For me, I am speaking on several channels, so that's why I kind of started those four channels: the YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, couple of groups I run, and also the Twitter. Right, all of them are good. So we're going to talk about vital energy, as I was describing to them. It's called prana in Sanskrit in yoga, and it's called chi in acupressure, acupuncture, all the Chinese, the same energy that they are naming different, but the principles are the same. You know, um, actually, yoga came to from India to several parts of the country. One of them is Chinese too. So I kind of cherish yoga and also the acupuncture, acupressure in diverting our energy, in replenishing our energy. So, what are the ways that we can really improve our energy is what we're going to focus on first, and then we're going to go into the depleting of energy through our modern living and what are the things we all do, including me, so we can be reminded of that, and then we can correct them a little bit, right? So the first thing is yoga asanas. That is something that you do regular practice of yoga postures that promotes this energy flow. That's one thing, right? Everybody knows about. I just mentioned it, not it is number one, but it is something everybody is familiar. Now, the number one is the pranayama. That is consciously breathing deep. These are exercises to balance and expand the prana. It's not just breathing deep and getting more air, but it is about balancing that prana, that life force energy, and also really expanding that. That's the one thing. The other thing is obviously meditation, cultivating mental clarity and inner peace. That will enhance the prana. Okay, inner mental clarity and inner peace. And then sattvic diet, the diet that is rich in sattva. Sattva means something that promotes our tranquility, harmony with them. Okay, so if you eat mainly vegetarian diet, and then even among the vegetarian diets, you don't eat heavy foods, you don't eat foods that put you to sleep easily, that kind of thing. I'll talk more about it later. And then adequate rest and sleep, that's very, very important to make this energy go through. Okay, late nights and not having enough rest and working overly at the expense of our rest and sleep, that's what they're talking about. Okay, that is, if you don't have sufficient sleep and rest, it cannot rejuvenate. That is the problem, rejuvenation of the body and the mind, right? And then uh, there are people don't pay attention to this, but they're very important too, in terms of what do you do with your self-care. See, lack of self-care is really doesn't really help you with all this important thing. That we'll talk about it a little bit later. But basically, understand these things. Okay, asanas, pranayama, meditation, sattvic diet, and adequate rest. Okay, and if you can understand those things, that will be very good. Okay, and then uh, people who connect with the nature, they will be spending in time in nature for grounding and energy renewal. That's also important in yoga. And positive relationships. If you can have positive relationships, they will be really helping you to nurturing harmonious connections for emotional well-being. Okay, and the last one in the yoga practice are self-reflection. That is, you sit down and practice self-awareness and self-introspection. That will give you personal growth and also that enhances um, your uh, your uh, uh, your pranic energy. That is what they are talking about. Okay. So those are the things that you want to cultivate, you want to have them in your life. Okay, that anybody can do. I think there are lifestyles, and then once you understand and how to do them and how to observe they're doing or not, because things go unnoticed, and then we will always say we didn't notice, or nobody talked to us, or there is so many market forces that are allowing us. Forget about these lifestyles and then adopt to the other lifestyles. I'm going to talk about it now. We are going to just name them first, and then we can take one at a time and then talk as long as you want, or you can contribute to. So modern lifestyles that really deplete our energy. What are there? Obviously, sedentary lifestyle. That is something everybody knows. Sitting in the chair without move, basically not having the mobility of the body, right? That's the one. And then poor breathing habits. Just sitting down, shallow breathing, never understanding what is the deep breathing is. Are we really doing that as a practice? Are we incorporating that into our lifestyle? That's important. Most people breathe shallow, so that's not good for the prana. So, and then there is so much stress and overwork in our lives, right? That is undeniable. So, how do you understand stress? Where does the stress come? Where is this overwork? What is your solution to those things? That kind of thing. And then obviously unhealthy diet. Any diet that has got processed foods, excessive sugar, and stimulative drinks, coffee, tea, or caffeine rich soda and all that. Okay, and then sleep deprivation. This is something happening in the modern life. That's why I wanted you to follow that. Okay, so that really depletes the energy restoration and weakens the vitality. That's why. And then technology overload. This is something I've been focusing on and telling people about how they can really cultivate this lifestyle where they will be moderating on the use of the technology, and then they can really help themselves because it does some electromagnetic radiation, and then also it kind of excessive screen time really does that. Okay, so you just want to watch that. We'll talk more about it. And then negative relationships, like we talked, positives are good for restoration of this energy. Negative, obviously, everybody has some ulterior motive in relationships, and then nobody relates like a human to human being, and then just out of loving kindness. That is important too. And self-care, got to have self-care, and most of the people are forgetting about it because they are really occupied with a lot of work and a lot of routines that they can't help. They don't have the time, they don't have energy, they're exhausted after they come. So I kind of sympathize with these people. That's why I kind of try to come and help. So I'm not like those people who were asking you for business. I'm just here to share. And actually that makes me feel very good when I share from my heart. Okay. So I don't have to deceive anybody, but I will deceive myself if I have ulterior motives. So there is something about giving that is very replenishing your energy. That's something you want to understand. Okay. So that is what I wanted to present today. Maybe we'll discuss longer segments of it. If Leon or Gemma, you want to come up, you're more than welcome to come. I'll invite you just in case you want to come up. I know Leon uses acupuncture, so. So, for those who are on the other channels, don't know who I am, let me briefly tell you. I'm a physician. I'm stationed in the United States. I've been here more than 40 years. I was an internal medicine doctor with an active practice. Now it has slowed down because I kind of want to reach larger segments of population, which I am with my online work with a company called BA PAL. I'm the CEO of that. I kind of promote healthy wellness practices so that people uh, will prevent things from happening and also enhance their wellness. Most not only body, mind, emotional, and spiritual wellness. I go deep into those matters. I run a wellness club in that company, which promotes wellness. Kind of teach all these yoga routines, breathing routines, meditation routines, and also uh, deeper understanding about the life from ancient wisdom, ancient philosophy. So I consider myself a student of that ancient wisdom and also practitioner of this ancient wisdom. Okay, so I come here to present to you what I'm learning and practicing, and give you a taste of that, and invite you to test it out yourself. Apart from that, I'm married. I have two kids, both grown up. They are all happy with their lives, and then it gives me some time to really spend with social media. But I do it only 1 hour these days in the evening. Rest of the time, I may go somewhere where they invited me or something. Otherwise, I don't go unless the topic is very, very good and I have the time to listen to it. That is what is happening. I'm now working with artificial intelligence. I embraced it, so I was getting a lot of time saved because of the new technology. So it's a tool eventually. So I don't let this technology overwhelm me, because that's something what I preach people. How can you have digital toxicity, and how can you do to negate that, to really not be victim of technology? That is happening. Actually, people are exposed to a lot of these talks and a lot of this information, lot of these distractions, all the announcements and everything coming. And that is taking away a lot of people's attention span. That's a quite concern. And also, kids, especially teenagers, are really committing more suicides because of this influence of the social media too. That is something we are very much concerned as physicians, as healthcare practitioners, as philosophers, teachers, and all that, right? So I do work a lot on that angle, educating schools, educating teachers, educating other people, that are influential in kids' life. Then we also work on the planet. How can we help the planet so that it won't disappear? Already, I was seeing the statistics today. We kind of lost so many trillions of dollars, and also a lot of people that are suffering the ill effects of the planet, the extreme weather, or in the third world countries. Okay, and then they are paying for it. More than 80% are there. But the 4.8 trillion that was spent is more like a uh, uh, most of it, 80% is in United States. Hi, Sanya.
Hi, Dr. Rao.
Yeah. So I was. Yeah, you missed the initial presentation where I enumerated what are the yogic practices that can increase your energy, and then what are the things in our modern life are depleting our energy. So we'll go to go deep into that. Don't worry, but I just enumerated them. So if you want to go back to listen to them later, that's fine. But meanwhile, I will take one thing at a time and we talk about it. Okay. So what I'm talking about here is what's called vital energy, or it's called prana, right? So this prana is something very, very important for people to understand and see how that can be cultivated in their lifestyle with certain asanas, certain breathing practices, such as meditation. You are familiar with them, Sanya, because you were attending my wellness class for a while. So you know what they are and how they improve your energy. See, one of the tests I say is when you are done with the session, you should have five things. Okay, A, E, I, O, U. They just came to me like that. You become After the practice with asanas and breathing, being in the present and meditation, all that we do in the morning, at the end of the hour, we want to check, am I becoming more alert? That's the one, A, right? And the E is, am I having the boost in energy? Do we feel energized? Okay, and that is something that you will feel yourself. Nobody need to tell you that. Okay, A, E, I is, you might have had some insight into whatever we are doing or whatever questions you have. That is the A, E, I. O is more like a primordial sound. So when you allow those primordial sounds to be deeply listened to, they are also a big booster of energy. Okay, they're built on the scale, on the mathematics scale, that is very conducive to have these energies invoked. Okay, you don't have to be religious for that, but you just understand the effect of these sounds on you. Okay, that is the O, and the U is, are you in tune with the universal consciousness? That way, you don't have any conflict that will deplete your energy. So these five things I always talk about. It just came to me that they correspond to the owls, but I think that's very convenient for us. So there must be fortune or something. So, um, Sanya, you understand the deep breathing is not just air that you are breathing, but it is the pranic energy. That means life force that are not only deepens your energy, but also extends your energy too. And that's why you feel so rejuvenated. And also, it goes all the way to the metabolic area where the energy is produced, transferred, or depleted. So if you have a lot of negative relationship, obviously they are energy depleters, right? And you have very negative person, you have that too. So I will just go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, instead of saying a couple of sentences of each one, which I did earlier. First one is in the yoga practices, asanas, pranayama, meditation, sattvic diet, and adequate rest. Those are the things that we talk about. And also, they involve nature connection. How you connect with the nature is a very important thing. And positive relationships, and also self-reflection, some time to really reflect what is going on, right? And whereas modern things that deplete our energy are sedentary living, everybody knows about these things, and also poor breathing habits, shallow breathing. Okay, people don't move, don't breathe deeply, and also there's a lot of stress and overwork. People do work a lot. Okay, and then there is unhealthy diet, without saying everybody knows about that, and sleep deprivation too. That also goes with the modern life, and technology overload, and then negative relationships, and finally lack of self-care. So these are the things that I kind of sat down and prepared like a tab form, so that I can present all of them. But each one of them we can take and we can spend one day. Okay, so what do you think, Sanya?
Yeah, talk about, I didn't realize when we were doing all those movement, and you talk about the energy, and of course the breathing part is, I didn't realize how much connected it is between the asanas and the movements that we're doing, right?
Yeah.
And then as you your mind come to a place where it is in cycle and in rhythm with, whether it's nature or, your life, right? In terms of tunes and attention, that becomes so much more enjoyable in what you're doing, right?
Yeah. So you notice your enhancement of energy. That's what you are saying, right? So that is something her first-hand experience. She felt the energy going up. The thing is, if you do them on a regular basis, not as a once a week, that's not the regularity. You should do it like a daily, because you deplete energy daily. Either you stop the depleting energy things, or you kind of allow energy production, stimulation, all of that. So it starts with diet and breathing and exercise. People know about this, but then they take it for granted that it will happen by itself, especially if you are, you know, aging, if you are like beyond certain decades, and then you were not used to exercise as a child. That's something people may say. First 3 decades, if you really exercise, if you build your body, and if you do that, you are much better off later on in your life. You know, so martial arts, yoga, pilates, or just running or playing sports, all those things are, they used to be common, normal for people, right? But then nowadays we give the devices to the kids, so the kids are more of stationary and sedentary living, even when they are very, as parents, I think people are concerned, but at the same time, how much time they can control, they will send to school, and then they will also cannot really influence them because everything is through the phone now. It used to be like a family tells you something, you go to follow, but now family doesn't matter because the world comes to you on the phone. Okay, so the kids are getting obese by the age, which is a big concern of mine, because in my practice itself, I used to see people who are into the 30s and 40s getting obese was a concern. And then as I progress in my practice, I saw people like young people, right? Especially ladies, they were concerned about the figure and all that. But then we are seeing now kids even 10 or even below that, they are very obese because this attack of sedentary living with devices, not going out and playing and all that. And second thing is eating a lot of this processed food. Okay, so that is a concern. That's a big concern. So a yogic lifestyle actually tells you move. Even when you are sitting down, you can do so much exercise in there. For example, I'm sitting down now, my toes are up, and then heels are up, like a cycling, right? I can do 50 of them as I am talking to you in between for a minute. Okay, so that will be very easy. And also I show people, if you are happy to sit and do a lot of executive work, where doctors also, they sit on the EMR and all. I show them routines that they can do um, in the chair, and very easily they become exercises. Like you can twist the spine, you can raise the hands and then come down, touch the toes, and then go back again. And then you can really put both your fingers together, extend the wrists and arms and forearms, that kind of thing. You can raise them above your head and twist all of, or you can pretend like you are dancing in the chair with a movement all over. Okay, so many things you can do. You don't have to do continuously. Maybe a few minutes every few hours, that is good enough. Basically, if you have exercise and come to the workout place wherever you are working, and you are forced to be sedentary in that, you are better off understanding these simple routines and then do them. Actually, I gave a class for the residents in training, doctors in training. I think Michelle was the person who is responsible to this case. So she knew about my philosophy. So she asked me to do a master class for them. So I did that. It should be on my Instagram. If anybody interested, you can look for it, and then you can also adapt. I did one class for physicians that they can do in their call room. So there are a variety of life situations. I have provided opportunities to exercise, so you can go and check it out. And then there are a number of them, so I don't know how they are arranged and all that, but it should be there. Okay, or anybody is interested, they can always come communicate with me and then join and do that too. Okay, so what else, Sanya? Do you want me to tell anything specific, or?
Like in going through the AIOU, okay, so we start with being alert, right? This is like, when we started the practice, right?
Because you are always waking up late, and then you have this.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I don't make a habit of being late.
I don't know. I'm just saying. Anybody can feel groggy in the morning, right? And then from that grogginess, you become more alert. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, once you it is about the recognition and then what you're gonna do about it, right?
Yeah. You become more alert. Obviously, that's what I'm saying. Because in the yoga practice, what happens, Sanya, your spine is kind of, going back and forward to the sides and side. All that bending the spinal cord as a whole, that really releases a lot of this, kind of groggy feeling and all that. And also, when you bend down to the front, your head goes down to the floor, like, that also increases the blood supply to and that also helps you with that. Okay, so in the night time when we are working, we have a lot of patients to see, and we are exhausted, and then we are working there. So I used to show my colleagues how to rejuvenate yourself without eating, without really taking any food and all that. You can do this deep breathing and also this spinal stretch. That if they can do that, they will be very, very relaxed. There is one called head to toe scanning in the chair. What happens there is, not only you are deep breathing and you are aligned with your breathing, but also you are calming down all the thoughts that are going in, right? And then you relax all the muscles because you're doing from head to toe scan. This is very popular and used in even departments of anesthesia to induce this kind of thing with the patients, and then they take less anesthesia, or some people don't take anesthesia for mild process. There is conscious sedation, but apart from that, this is also used. Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Also, with regards to breathing and energy and scanning, right? I recently, of course, just been doing this, the 61 point ones.
Yeah. Well, that is their invention, but then you want to be just not counting the numbers, but also identifying the major areas of tensions that happen in your body, like usually the neck, the lower back, and shoulders, and some people in the legs and knees and all that, right? But some people have, after they progress to some extent, you can feel that you have what they call them the tires on the side of the abdomen. That's all accumulation of fat and all. Stretching that kind of areas also helps you to promote blood supply to that area, and the energy improves a lot more. Okay. So the essential thing is this: are you aligning your chattering mind to be calm, and your shallow breathing to be deep, and the inert body kind of put to needing it? Doesn't have to be aerobic workout, because lots of times people do aerobic workout, then they feel exhausted. Not so in yoga. Okay, when you do the stretches in this way, aligning the silent mind, deeper breathing, and then stretch of the tensions that you have, you will rejuvenate the energy. You understand?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically, you are not allowing yourself away from the presence, which I always talk about. You are not engaged in unnecessary negative thought. Okay, people will be listening to me thinking something. Okay, doing all that. What it is you don't agree with me, but when you are talking about it, you be here present. Just listen what he's saying. But Afterwards, you are not supposed to agree. You are supposed to go and reflect on that, and then think logically, think correctly whether it is correct or not. Then go do your own investigation and research, and then you will see what is truth, what is not. But if you just accept it, that's not right. If you don't listen, yes, that's not right. Listen and then do the other thing, right? So alignment of this is called manasa vacha karmana. That means in your mind you are quiet, and then in your speech also you are quiet. That means you are really silent. Basically, your mind is silent, your speech was also silent. But most of the people will be chattering and thinking about it, analyzing or doing this multitasking. They say, "Oh, I'm checking these messages, I'm checking this thing and all." Uh, that's all okay when you are listening to something like a news factor or something practical things you are doing. But then when you want to have an insight into this kind of life affirming or life changing things, I think first listen and then don't accept, but go and find out the truth about it. Research it, or experiment with it. Then you will know. Most of these things, what I'm talking about, are your first person experiments. That's why if you gather, when you go to so many rooms, you gather all these things, right? But why those things are not touching? That's what people have to question themselves. Right? In yoga, what happens is you are least wasting money through chattering mind, and then you are allowing the deep breathing to work for you, and also what kind of attitude you are breathing. That's very important. I think I told you several times what kind of, you're not just improving the mechanical process of the breathing, which you do, but that's not the main aim. The aim is you are bringing the life force within you, and you be reverent to that life force. You can call it God, you can call it divine, you can call it anything, but still that is life force. See, there are nadis, like a meridians, nadis, they are same. They are the channels for energy. They are not anatomically can be shown, but then functionally they are there, right? Like some points are there. Acupressure, yoga, you just press on that, you can see certain corresponding areas respond. Acupressure, acupuncture are the same meridians, right? But these meridians in Sanskrit, they're called nadis. So through the nadis, this energy flows, and that's where you get a lot of nurturance. So when you breathe in, be reverent to the life that is coming into you. That is kind of like a godliness, that is coming into you and giving you the sustenance and all the energy that you need and all that. Okay. Once you are aware of that, and if you are so present that you don't have any thoughts in the mind, but you are breathing with that reverence to the life force, don't take it for granted. If you do that, that is 10 times more than just breathing deep and thinking about the spreadsheet. That's what people do. At least for the time you are doing, just be like that. That's what I'm suggesting. Okay, you can go and do your work and all that is fine, but then all this work is not like you can switch on, switch off, because there are methods that will make you continuously think. Those things you don't have. That's where the digital toxicity comes. Okay. So be aligned with your mind, be aligned with your breathing, be aligned with your speech, be aligned with your tensions in the body, and then they will go. If you are aware of the life force and then be reverent, that's much more so. Actually, that's how they kind of mastered. Nowadays what we do yoga, meditation, all these things for enhancement of this physical life and materialistic gains, and they're free of disease. They may be there, but then the deeper thing is you will be connected with your deeper consciousness, And that is the main thing, but why they did all that, so that they don't care about the external things as much as inner transformation, inner awareness of much deeper issues. And actually, it's a shame, Sanya. Once you touch that deeper consciousness, the health and wellness and the way we feel, everything dramatically improves. Again, don't trust me, don't believe me. I just stating something, my experience, but you got to experience yourself. So that's the deeper aspects of it. If I talk all that, people will run away probably. So if they are interested, they can talk to me about that. But generally, people want to have a good health, good body, and then they want to do well with their exams, and then they want to have some relief from the sorrows and pains and everything that's going on in their life. So they focus on that. But they, as a human being, have the capacity to go to the depths. That's what they displayed, the ancient rishis and munis and all that. So that is what modern people are not getting into. That's what I was always telling them. You not only transcend your ego, you transcend the sorrows, and then you will touch that bliss that is there within all of us. Everybody has it. Okay. Anyway, so what do you think about, what do you like, the things that I told you about, what replenishes your energy with that, all the yoga practices, and also what are the modern things that are depleting our energy? Which one you can do more?
Like nowadays, I increase more than I decrease, right? Because
Okay.
it's just like in terms of the things that you want in life as well, right? What is it that you want to be able to do, right?
Yeah.
Most of us want that peace, love, and harmony in our lives, right? And so why not, in terms of like do those kind of things that will produce those things, right?
Shall I tell you something shocking statement? You know, really shocks you.
Dr. Rao.
What it is you want to have the inner peace and happiness, and that's why you want to do this, is not really the fact. The fact is they're already there, and we are kind of walking away from that.
Awesome. That is so true. So true.
Yeah. But then is it a fact in your life? That's what you have to, you don't have to answer to anybody. What I'm saying is, that's what you want to find out. That is the inside job. You remember I was telling you about the inside job? That's what it is. It doesn't mean we don't want to have good food, good air. All those things are preliminary. But even the people who are surviving in the other parts of the world, if you really look at it, suppose they don't have processed food, and suppose they don't have sedentary activity, suppose they don't have all this technological overload. They may work, but then they don't have this oppression and all that. Suppose they have that. So minimalistic outward life and very rich inward life. Not rich means you are going on thinking about it and then you think you are a deep thinker. No, not that. Understanding the existential issues, not because scientifically somebody found something, that's why you think you are very scientific. Pursuing the truth is science or anything. The inner sciences truths were pursued by the ancients, and even the modern people, like, I'm a modern doctor, right? All these people, my colleagues, everybody, they have this arrogance that these inner sciences are no big deal. Yeah, but what kind of inner life you have? When you ask them, it becomes personal. But then that's where you have to go to really see. Otherwise, they just become words and noises, not real in their life, right? So all we have to do is be honest with ourselves and then say, am I able to transcend my ego. That is something you never have examined. Then you can sit down and examine it, right? So that is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, those like for me, it's not about so much as the ego anymore, or in terms of consciously, being all of those things, right? But
yeah, I'm talking in general, Sanya. I'm not talking about you, Sanya. I'm just stating.
No, I mean like.
General life, general
I
life.
do understand what you said, Dr. Rao, because that was myself before, right?
Yeah. Look at the approach. When we think we are going for the peace, going for the happiness, going for the this one, when you say they are already here, but I'm not able to reach it because of my own kind of not knowing, that's it. See, when you are scientific, like I was, I have to study medicine and all that. It was always like going out and finding some object and studying it and all that. But this is about our subjective nature, subjective thing. So the moment you go and immediately you have an opinion about yourself, you have a ego sensation like I am this, I am that, then you're blocked. So you got to transcend what it is that. There is what's called aham vritti. Vritti is like an impression, thought, and all that, right? Aham vritti, that is, this is I am, that feeling. But we cover that feeling with all sorts of attributes. That's where we get lost, But if you don't do that, and if you go deeper and deeper, then you will touch that reality about that is the title of this room. Be your bigger self, big S. That is not something I can touch it for you, or anybody else can touch it for you. Only you can touch it if you keep your mind quiet, if your sensations quiet. Then you can go in and touch that with intuitive awareness. That's why awareness is such a prominent teaching in my morning hour, right? What I tell you, be in the present and carry like a perfume through that is what is the important thing. Aware of first aware, and then have thoughts in the awareness. But we do opposite. If awareness is put front, and then you live with awareness and you let the thoughts come in and go without catching them or without identifying with them. A lot of people are caught in that. So they get very angry, like I'm personally questioning them. It's not. That's the fact. For me, maybe it's not for you. So put the awareness in front, and then suppose I talked about what are the things that in yogic science, how did they come? They have not written these things initially. They didn't, utter these things also. They were just practicing, going in and finding it. And then when somebody wanted, if you study I have studied the yoga initiation, development, and so many people talked about it. But then the biggest gurus are the ones who first practiced and then it came out, right? It's you can learn a few things about postures, breathing, and all that, but you can never really just experience just by talking. You got to live it, do it.
Yeah, the doing part. Yeah.
And then only you will get it. And that also, if you do it according to somebody's formula, that's not appropriate. For example, you are there, and then you can bend better on the left side than on the right side, which is a normal thing for you because your body is like that, right? But mine will be opposite. Then I shouldn't be copying you. I just understand the principle of it and let ease it into what is allowed by my body. And that kind of thing doesn't come in because this will think of, I'm going to do better than him, bend, so then you are lost. So ego works in a very subtle forms. Anyway, what do you think about that statement?
Yeah, I like the in terms of when you talk about it's all about within your experience as
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
yeah. I think everybody, if I focus on me and of course getting better than the day before, then
Actually, Sonia, that
progress
the
to
depth of this yoga science is so vast. I'm presenting maybe 1/10 of 1%. So you can imagine, right? As a physician, that has revolutionized my thinking about wellness, my understanding of how to be well for myself, right? And then for everybody else too, because people come to me with some kind of discomfort or suffering or whatever, right? And attending to only a chemical external events without understanding what are the events that are provoking this chemistry. Other thing that I'm seeing a disturbing thing is everybody is so oriented to doing something and getting it without understanding where their mind is, where their feelings are, all those things, right? So it's kind of a, they want help, but they want to go and help other people. They are helpless themselves and they want to go and help other people. All these courses, everything that they do, when you really ask them, how is you in within you, how are you, then they'll say, oh, I need to, I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn with the group. I'm going to grow with the group and all that. So that's all because the scientific community have to take these things much more seriously, don't accept them, but then go and study them, go and research them. Like, for example, COVID, right? COVID is leaving a lot of long COVID patients. I go to the Maya McNulty's room. She is somebody who suffers from the long COVID, but she is trying to get the legislature to listen to her, and she organized some movement. They went and talked to the, for the, some grants and all that, right? I think they presented the papers, but then they don't have the data. She is somebody attracts all these long COVID patients who are suffering actually. It's not like a theory for them. They're actually disrupted in their life in so many ways. So I go and listen to this just to understand what's going on with this long COVID. Because I don't see them as patients, but I do go to these rooms, several of them there. I go and listen to them. And then lots of times I suggest these holistic practices. They kind of gobble your up. Even the people who are neuroscientists, she was given this deep breathing, and she was very, very much agreement with that too. But the thing is, cardiologists, other people are also there, and they kind of see the limitation of our scientific approach and ignoring thousands of years of these healing practices. But you don't want to take it like a snake oil. You want to study and then investigate and then find out. Okay, I think that's where the COVID virus is causing so many different ailments to the people who are afflicted by it. Some may have kidney problems, some may have, but the underlying process is more like a atherogenic. That means clot forming problem, right? And then you go to the molecular biology, then you have to understand what is the influence of this COVID on this milieu of all the metabolic things that we are doing, that kind of thing. So one of the epidemiologists from Brown University, she was there the other day. She was talking on the news hour that government should put some funds to establish the research process for this particular thing, because many of the people who were recovered from the COVID are at risk of getting into this long COVID. So that's a big public health concern. How many people are aware of that? See, that is the state of our affairs. But then, you see, keeping the tracheobronchial tree and the lungs free of all these secretions, you can do a lot more because you are doing this deep breathing and then promote the ciliary function that will get all the secretions out. That is there. But you cannot get it in one day. You got to establish a practice of this for a long time, And also, you can have natural elimination of these secretions, and also you can enhance immunity to overcome that from within. You see, that is where I talk about the wellness practices from within. People have foggiest idea about that. They don't understand it at all. So that is an injustice to the patients, to everybody who is concerned about their own health. They may go off because of a lot of things they have overcome with their own natural health and vigor and all that. But what I am talking about here is you have vigorous ways that you can do daily, and also you can stay away from those practices that are decreasing your wellness and vitality and vigor, immunity too. So I'm really big deal on that. You remember I used to show you immunity routine, lymph nodes, all of them. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movement all over, and also
all the lymph nodes. What happens with that is our immunity is enhanced, basically. And that's why we really have. I think Dr. K is here. He wants to come up. Let's invite him.
Good day, Dr. Ross, Sonia, Jim. I'd love to be here.
How are you, Dr. K? Good. So we are talking about vital energy, how to increase it, how to protect it from depleting it. So that's our topic today.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So I was making a comment about how our modern medicine could do some more. There are already so many studies done on these practices, but they are not popularized because a lot of people don't have access to them. But then I was talking about long COVID and how government should put some resources into researching this phenomena. What is long COVID? Why it is so much bothering people, and how we can help them. So we were talking about some points about how to. Basically, I'm talking about yogic practices of asanas, pranayama, meditation, nice relationship with the nature and people, and also self-care. And also avoiding sedentary living, shallow breathing, and this chattering mind, toxic relationship, technological overload, stress and overwork, and also not taking care of ourselves. That's in a nutshell. We presented that. We talked a little bit about them. I can go deep into each topic and talk an hour probably. Probably people don't want to listen to that. I was taking a sip of water. Any other questions, Sanya? Anybody?
Dr. Ross.
Yeah.
I have one question.
Yeah, please.
The question comes from, as we know, heart attack is the leading cause of death.
Yeah.
And then I tried to go to see through the point of view of the spirituality.
Yeah.
So what I understood it this way: love is the key, or love is, I abbreviate it, L is life, O is omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, V is vitality, E is eternal. But human consciousness, the way they understood love, is still at the primitive stage of conditional love. That's what they know. Now, if you have limited love to the soul, that means the heart is representing as the main in the creation or in the universe.
Yeah.
It has a force. Everything. It might be related to what the leading content. It might not be due to hypertrophy. It might be due to this confusion of IOS, I call it, insane operating system of ego mind.
Yeah.
And going through self-destructive algo.
Yeah. That's right. Actually, you wanted a spiritual perspective. I'll give this. See, we are all born with that spiritual heart, and out of the spiritual heart, the mind comes up because it has to take care of the body and the, whatever the ways we go about in life to just to get minimum thing. But then we kind of forget that spiritual heart which we were born with, and then we kind of allow our mind to take over us. And spiritual journey is coming back to it. That means really understand the limitation of thought, limitation of mind as a whole, and really stationing ourselves in the heartfulness. Okay, even in yoga also, they have 7 chakras, right? These are the centers of energy, that is there. The bottom 3 are concerned about the survival and also propagation of the species, right? And also getting some kind of livelihood and all of that. And then up until then, they will be only thinking of yourself, your survival, your thing, everything, right? And then the heart chakra is when you really open to everybody else, and then you are basically, your limitation of thought goes down, and then you become heartful in that way. Loving kindness is something that is natural for all of us, but we forgot about that. We got to come back to it. And that way, in Sanskrit, it's called Hridaya Grandhi. That means Grandhi means knot, right? So if you are really knotted by your attachments of the earthly life and all that, your thought will dominate and your heart will not open, even if you feel that feeling, right? So they talk about not having this Hridaya Grandhi by really settling down in your heartfulness, and that is where everything comes from. By the way, cardiology has a recent thing. I was working with somebody. They said whatever you have an idea in the mind, actually it is from the heart first, and then immediately it has a circuit to the brain, and the brain will say so. You basically think with your heart, like. But everybody has become so much oriented towards the thought, they don't really put it in its place and then come with the heartfulness. So when you do something with somebody, like we're coming and sharing something, we don't have any ulterior motives. It looks wonderful, wonderful feeling. Just we are sharing, we are relating to people from the heart. So everybody knows, everybody feels that, but then the situation with the intellectual world, the situation with the relationship world, the attributes, the divisions, they dominate. So people, even though they know that is it, they want to really be heartful. Their thought dominates them and don't allow them to be that. But the thing is, if you turn inward and find out this true self I'm talking about, the bigger self, then that is so fulfilling spiritually also. You don't need to crave for the external things. That is where the Hridaya Grandhi also is broken. And then you are free with your heart. You don't care about the external things because you're already full and contented with your heartfulness. Make sense? Okay?
Yes, it is amazing. And with the formula I've been working on with love or God equation, the 4 variables I use, like being present, connection, impactful, and giving love divided by negativity or resistance.
Yeah.
So I got the number 1/0, which is the highest number could exist.
Mm.
And the moment one of the variables are affected,
Yeah.
the love is fallen to
Yeah.
negativity. And then when I apply this principle to everyone, to me versus none, like with a tree or something, and then you come into oneness.
Mm.
Oneness. God is one. Unification, and in all religion, it comes the same.
Yeah.
Everything unite to one.
You know, that oneness thing is a big deal, because once you know we are all in one, how can you have others to blame, others to really be violent or be cruel, anything like that? So
Yes, it's part of us.
yeah, that's it. We are
We are
all
one.
one. We are
That's
all
why.
one. Yeah, we're all one.
That's
So
why the more we give,
yeah,
it's collective work.
yeah. You know why they don't give is they don't feel that they're already fulfilled.
Yes.
So you first discover that, then you will come to the world with that fulfilled self. Then you don't have to have even count anybody. You know, you remember,
Yes.
they may do something because they don't know. That's why they are doing that. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because humanity is on self-destructive mode, right?
Yeah.
War,
Yeah.
jealousy, killing. This is
Yeah.
like self-destructive algorithm.
No, actually,
Anybody.
the roots of war is traced to this. You know, I think,
Separation, right? Yeah.
yeah, Ikatori said about this. He said, Germany, when Hitler was ruling and he was marching and conquering other people, all these people felt so good, they supported him. They kind of fed the beast, right? But then, what is underneath that is this feeling of I am the ego, not that I am the oneness. You know, so that's
The
why.
iOS.
No, that's why.
Insanity, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's why that still goes on. If you look at all the forces that are rising up, as they want to say our America is great, we have to make it America great. All those things, they come from that kind of separative I, you know. And
Yes.
Eckhart said, because of this misperception about ourselves, being conscious being versus egoic nature of it, 130 million people were killed in 20th century. So I thought that was very appropriate to do. Even now, what is racism? What is this feeling about somebody? All these things.
It's all illusion.
Yeah, all these things are.
Because you've been a doctor for your entire life. I've been working. Whatever we see is not true. Because even if you get money, you work, then you're going to lose it, everything anyway.
Yeah.
It's illusion. The only thing you own is your own awareness, consciousness, that transcend with you forever.
Exactly. You know, actually, this has got a longer life. Okay. What it is there is a body, there is a mind, and then there is this awareness, right?
Yes.
That awareness kind of animates you, but then this awareness is eternal. You see?
Yes.
Whereas
that's why love is eternal.
Yes, that's it. And then once you are in there, what is love is basically you don't have this egoic separative self.
Exactly. That's what I understood, and I put the formula: ego equals 1/k, 1 over knowledge.
Yeah.
When you know you are connected, you are one.
Yeah.
Whom are you gonna show the ego to?
Yeah.
Because part of you.
Anyway, the energy part of it is that is what I wanted to talk about today. You know, I hope people have understood what I'm talking about. There are people on the Wisdom app, and there are people on the other channels too. If anybody wants to come up and ask me a question before I close it, you know.
So how do you activate the energy from your conscious? You focus on your heart and send to the appropriate area of.
No, you got to understand.
Enough awareness.
You got to understand. Before you go to the awareness depth, you have to understand your body, your mind, your upbringing, and all that. So there are ways to really understand the problems with the body, and deep breathing, and also meditation, and all this is connection with the nature, connection with other people, good relationships, and all this. I talked about this at length. I started at 6 o'clock. So
okay, sorry.
Yeah. So if you're interested, the replays are on, Dr. K. So you can go and listen to that. You know?
Thank you so much.
I'm sure you'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. I will talk to you guys tomorrow again. You know. Thank you.
What time is it? 6?
6 o'clock Central. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.